Hi guys, welcome back. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna focus on making a blog. So yeah, if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, and let's get at it. Okay, great. Let's go here. All right. Subscribe for more React. Awesome. So yeah, let's start. Let's do it on dark mode so we don't have that issue. And yeah, let's try to make something. Right. So um, what the hell is this? What the hell is all this? Okay. So let's open that. Let's make some fragments and let's make a block. Okay. Hello world. Okay. We already had some images, so we're gonna um, give an image. The first image is have an funny dog.jpg. Okay. And let's do some class names soon. Let me do first another image. Okay. Let me see what the image name is. So the second image name is, I'm gonna do another one, which is iceberg and Greenland. Greenland. Okay, great. Now, what we wanna do here is we wanna alt click, do a class name, and say aspect aspect square. We wanna say the width is 150 pixels, and we wanna say object cover. We also want to wrap around both of them in a link. So, like that. And this one, same. So this will later go to a slog. So, what we want to do is actually make import blog posts. But we don't, yeah, we kind of have that yet, but this is obviously not allowed. So, um, let me think. Uh, yeah, so what we're gonna do like this. And we are going to have something on top like a section, and in this section we want to have class name. We're going to say flex row, and we're going to say gap of 6. No, let's close that. Let's go here, and okay, okay, let's do this one all the way on top above the section. Okay, this is going to be our block, right? So let's go to our blog page. We're gonna open up these ones, and specifically we're gonna get rid of these ones for a second. So we only have the static block right now, and we're gonna say RAFCE. this one can go. And the first thing what we want to do is we're gonna say const blog post is static block dot find and then we want to say obviously you need some kind of uh, thing here, but assuming it has a slug, we're gonna say item slug is equal to slug, and cannot find name slug yet. But there's a title called slug here, but we don't have the slug yet, so we're gonna say const slug is window pat window, what is it? Window location path name, window location path name, split, and then pop that, so we don't have an issue later on. Now we can open this one, open some fragments. The blog post is not rendered yet, but we're gonna do that right now. We're gonna say blog post dot map data. Let me see, data. Okay, open this one, return. And what we're gonna return is how the blog post is going to look like. So how do we want our page to look like is something that we should ask ourselves. I think it's good to start with a section, actually. No, the section should be above, so let's do that. Section, and this section is going to have a class name, and this is going to be flex call, and it's going to be have a gap of 6. Is there anything else I want? Not sure yet. Okay. Okay, so the first thing that we want to return here is an image, and this image is going to have a source of and maybe it's better to do a div first. So div, and we're gonna say key is data.id. Okay, and inside of here we want to have an image, and this image is going to be data.image, and this one is going to have data.alt. Okay, so there we have the image. Now we need some text, and let's make this one bigger, like text 32 pixels. Let's also say that we have a padding of 6 everywhere, and this is going to be data.text if it exists. Okay, so now we have something that is going to be rendered. Okay, blog post is probably undefined. I have to think about that for a second. That is because I have to think about that for a second. Let me see why that is. Oh yeah, because we have to do this like an if statement. Like if blog post, right? Maybe like this. Okay, I cannot map. Property map does not exist on type. Hmm. Okay, so we don't have the map. Okay, that's pretty good news. Okay, that is very good actually. There's very good news. Instead of data, we can say uh, blog post. Blog post. Okay, so this is how our blog post is going to be. And let's also push these buttons here. Let's get rid of these ones. Okay. So this is how I want my blog post to look like. Okay. Now let's go back to the okay. We are back to the app. We have to import the blog post. So import blog blog slug blog page is red. Okay. So now we have to think about how we're gonna do that. You have to have an if statement. Um, hey Lisa, how are you doing? What's up? We're doing the same as yesterday, but we'll be learning an extra exercise if you have time. So let me put it here. It looks like the same as yesterday, but to be honest, these are questions that I can get on the interviews. So, how are you doing today? How's the React going? I don't know how it works anymore. I should have reviewed it before. I see. Let's study this. Okay. Did you mean I cannot find a blog page? Do you mean blog page? Is that true? Let me see. Yeah, this is true. Okay. I watched one of the JavaScript videos. Yeah, the structuring is very important. So for example, here you can destructure like you can say like item, you can say like title, you can say these things, and then you can use them here, right? You can use them here, and then you can go, for example, to another page, and then yeah, you can go to another page, and then you can say blog page, and then you can say um, whatever the requirement is, like you know, item is title or something. It depends on your case, right? So the structuring is very useful. Okay. If Phatt starts with blog, return blog page. So if I type here blog, Japanese dog, it should work. Let's see. Yes, but I don't render the image right on the blog page. So let's go to the blog page. Let's see what's going on. Ah, I remember. We have to, we can do two things. So actually, let's do this. Um, this one. Something like this. Oh, I'm doing it for a blog post ID. That wasn't a good case. Let's go back. And here's the image. Okay. Sesty, man. Okay. Let's go to the other. Okay. Japanese dog. And this one is Iceberg, Greenland. Okay. So let's go here. Great. So that works. Let's make it a little bit more complicated. So what we can do here, that is a bit weird. What just happened? We wanted to do this one. Okay. Okay, so this works. That works. Now what we want to do is make it a little bit more complicated and remove this comma. My goal is when we have this, that's all good, but we want to have some related blocks over here. So let's make a section and let's make a section. Last name. This is going to be flex, flex row, gap 6, p6, whatever. Okay, and we're gonna copy that from the app. And that's this one. Let's see. The images don't work. Because I need to use these ones. I think. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty interesting because I didn't do any checking, but it understands that it needs to go here. So I'm thinking about it. If this actually is the correct way of doing stuff. So maybe this is a good case of ChatGPT. I will tell you my mindset. So we do say blog iceberg Greenland. We do say that it exists here, but how does it know? That's my question. So, okay, I'm gonna say, um, how does it know it needs to go to the slug title? Okay. Um, I want to set a condition where if the slug um, is equal to the location path, um, the the same should not appear. For example, if we are in block have fun is um, have is doc to JPEG, I don't want to render this on the page. Uh, okay, so in that case, we should do a mapping. Okay, filter. If item slug cannot be slug, excludes the ones from the current post. Replace your related post section with this static block. Yeah, mapping is something you're gonna do a lot. Okay, static block, filter, item slug cannot be slug. Yeah, that makes sense. And then you render it within ternary. Okay, this makes sense. So let's replace that then. So we learned a little bit more about the block, right? So we can say something like this. Right? So that's good. Now let's include the other ones, right? So we have 3 more. That works, right? So that's a simple block. Okay. So we don't need this one is very important that we say if it cannot be blog post, and actually the pop method is very important. Okay, let's learn something new. So we're gonna ask ChatGPT. Maybe I already made it. Let me see if I can find it. Let me maybe it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. Let's go all the way to the top first. Um, let's see. Not sure if it's this one though. Okay. Mm, okay, so this is something we need to study. So let's see what's going on here. So we want to make a testimonial slider in React. What do we need to do? We need some static data. So that's the first thing. We need a text, a name, and an image. Well, we can only do an image if you want to. Then we say index set index is to a number. Okay? Then we say if you want to go to the next slide, it's previous plus one with the percentage of the testimonial's length. So where is this coming from? We need to figure that out. That is the length of this one. Okay, that makes sense. And previous is previous minus one plus testimonial length divided by testimonial length. Okay, it's a little bit complicated. Let me think about it. Um, yeah, that makes sense. It's the last item with the percentage what item it is. So it counts up, right? So the current state, right? The current state minus one, which is the last item, plus the testimonial length, which is the total length, which is 3. So it's, let's say it's 0, you're in the first slider, minus 1 is minus 1, plus the testimonial length is 2, right? Because it's 3 here, so 1, 2, 3, so that's 2, with how much it can go back. Now we can say if an if statement, obviously. We can say if the previous state is 0, that this one won't work. Or it will go to the last state. Maybe this is an infinite one, I'm not sure. Okay, const text name image is testimonial index, so that's the values. Okay, the testimonial values. And then we have the styles. Okay, let's see the container. Container is 300 pixels, margin is auto. Yeah, a text align is center. Okay, then we have the cart. The card has a padding of 20 pixels, one border solid, border radius of 10, margin button of 10. Okay, not sure why we do this, but sure. Image is a border radius of 50%. Okay, so it's like an avatar. 80 and 80. And text is italic with a margin of 10 pixels, top and bottom, and left to right of 0. And name, font weight is bold, and bottom is a display text space 15. Okay, so the only important ones are these ones. Okay, let's just create it. Let's just see what we can do here. Okay. So I'm gonna put it to the side and let's create it. Okay, let's go here. and and we're gonna name this app. We're gonna call this app blog 2. We're gonna make her a new app. This is not preferred way of doing stuff. Don't do the same. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Let's create some static data. So we're gonna call this testimonials. Const testimonials, obviously. Testimonials is open up the array of objects. What we're gonna do is just text. It's gonna be text1. I'm gonna say name. The first name is dog, right? We had the dog, and the image. Um, the image is Havanese dog. Havanese dog.jpg. Okay, let's create 2 more. Okay, we forgot the ID. Let's do the ID first. It's not needed here, but I'm gonna do it just in case. ID is 1. Okay. 1, 2. Okay. Second one is Ice Greenland. And let's see what it's called. It's called Iceberg Greenland. Iceberg Greenland. And the third one is called, let's do woman sport. I'm gonna say woman. Okay, so we have these ones. Now the next thing what we wanted to do is open up a use state. So let's go here and say const index set index is use state 0. Okay, use state is important. Great. Now, a couple of things here. The first thing is that we need the next button. So const next is an anonymous function. And this anonymous function, we want to set the index to the proficiency state. That will be proficiency plus 1 divided by the testimonial length. Makes sense. Testimonials dot length. And the length is 3. Right? Now the same with the proficiency one. So we're gonna say proficiency, which is not the same proficiency here. So let me just do proficiency here, or back. Let me do back here, so that makes sense for you guys. Okay, and we want to say -1 plus testimonials. Testimonials dot length modular on testimonials dot length. Okay, so we have those two, and now we need to destructure that. Well, we don't necessarily need to destructure that, but we can do it. Okay. Const const text name image. Uh, I like I like it. That's why I don't want to write function. I want to write this. This is my preferred way of doing stuff. There's no benefit. Well, there are some niche cases where functions only work or anonymous function only works, but you will very likely not encounter them. Okay, so let's write some styles. So first things first, let's open up this with a fragment. You will learn this a little bit later. Let's go to section. Okay, and this section is going to have a class name, and this is going to be flex. It's going to have a padding of 6. Um, Also, I want. Let me think. Um, Items center, justify center. Okay, so it's in the middle, and now we can start the container. The container will start with a div. So div, we're gonna say container. Let's actually make a data attribute for this. So data container. So we know that it's something like this. Okay. And this has a width of 300 pixels. 300 pixels. MX auto, which is margin auto. And text center. Okay. So that's the container. Inside the container we have cards. So because that the container holds the cards, right? Like, so if you have a container here, let me actually write it down if you don't know. So let me go. So like a brush or something. This is a pencil, or I have a brush here. So let me take a different color. So this is the container, right? But we have different cards, right? Let me write it. So we have a card here, but we also have a card over there, right? And inside the card we have the content. We have the content. And that's why we have buttons to absolute, and these buttons will say, hey, move 100% to the left or right. That is what it will do. That is the button's job. So you cannot see the content here, but because this is the card, the container that holds the cards, and the cards the cards holds the content, right? This is the content. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Um, so let's do data card. So there's going to be a couple of cards, but let me think what is best here to actually map it or just keep it as the values. Is it like a flex box? A flex box can hold flex items, yes. So if you want to see it that way, yeah. Okay, P 20 pixels. Okay, border, border, border one. So that's what border one. Or we can say border one immediately if you want to. Rounded is going to be 10 pixels, and margin button is going to be 10 pixels. Okay, so we have something like this. This is a card for now because there's no data inside of it yet, right? So now we're gonna do div and it's going to be data content, right? Which first of all is going to be an image, right? So let me see, container card. Well, actually, I do not need to make this here because the content is already inside the card. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna say source is going to be image, right? Because we have the image here, right? And the alt, we did not have alt. No, we do not have that. That's fine. What we can do, we can make it the name, right? That's fine. So name. Let's work on these ones. Oh, let's work on the so we have the images here, right? And let's say data content image. So we know that it is the image that is the content, right? Then we can say we want to have some text. So text. This is the text. Let's make some class names. Let it make it bigger. Class name. And this is going to be text, I don't know, 24 pixels. And it's going to have a background of cyan. It's going to be terrible. Uh, let's actually make it really white. Okay, no, okay, that doesn't work. Let's do another color. Let's see what we have. This one, and then text black, which is going to be white because it's on dark mode. Okay, whatever. Okay, so we have this one, right? And then we can say the name. So let's do a name. So this is the name. Let's keep it as is. Actually, we can turn it around. Let's do name and let's do text. Right? And then we can say here data content p content name and data content text. Okay. Now we need some buttons here. Um, we need to go outside of the cart, but well, we don't necessarily need to do that. We can stay inside if you want to. Let me think about it a little bit. Mm, yeah, let's go outside of it. So, and this is going to be data um, arrows. Great. We're just gonna hold the buttons. I'm gonna make two buttons. So, buttons, uh, buttons times two. So we have two buttons. Okay. Two buttons. We're gonna have a class name, and this is going to be a width of 24 pixels. Width of 24 pixels. Height of 24 pixels. And let's do PG red 500. And let's do text black. I don't know, something like that. Okay. And now what we need to do is next, and this is going to be Perficius or back. So we have two buttons here. Let's create some padding in between. So let's do padding 6. And let's do margin left of 6 on the this one. I think it's this one, margin left 6. So there's some spacing between them. And for these ones, we want to also have some padding. So padding is going to be padding X of 12 pixels. So it's a little bit taller, more space to click. Margin, sorry. Should be margin probably. Okay, that doesn't work. I have to think about it for a second. Give me a second. PX, MX. Never mind. I'm not gonna think about it. Okay. So this not naturally gonna work. Let's put this one here actually. And then this one here. Okay, back and next. We have these ones. Um, okay. Let me think if I forgot something. Yes. How next and prefixes are displayed. So this one is going to be back. Let me see if I did it right. Type 4 is not assignable to React node. Which is clear. It's an okay. You know what? Let's do it differently. Let's just make it an on click. So on click is going to be the first one is going to be back. And the other one is going to be next. And let's see. This should work, I think. Back. Was it? Back. And let's do back here. Okay. That was decent. Not too bad. Right? And now we can add multiple things, right? Which I'm not gonna do. And usually you will use a library, but I didn't want to use a library at this point. Um, yeah, okay. That was a testimonial slider, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm very happy about this result. So let's call this app test. Okay, and let's open up a new app. TSX, REFCE. Okay, let's do hello world. Okay. Uh, okay, that was pretty okay. Yeah, let's take a 5-minute break and then we're gonna do the last one. We're gonna do the blog post again. Only the front part, not the blog itself. So, uh, all right. I was very happy about this result. We learned yesterday. We learned a blog. and we repeated that, and we did the testimonial just now. The testimonial was a little bit tricky, but I think it's easier overall than making the blog. So, okay, let's import the blog. So let's go to components, and let's go to slug. Oh, I don't see it. Let's go to blog and blog blog page. Okay. Now we need to do some statements. Um, const path is window location path name, window location path name. We're gonna do the split method. Split. I'm not sure we have to do it here, to be honest. No. Let's do it just like this. And then we can say if let me think. To render the path name, we need to return something. So we need to return the blog page, but then it has to exist. So if it exists, and if the path name contains the block slug, right? So okay. So if path, I'm not sure if it includes or contains, but if path contains block return. I'm not sure if this is allowed. Return blog page. Thinks contains does not exist on type string. Okay, because it's an array. Includes. Okay, if it includes block. Okay. The return the blog page. Okay. And what we want to do here then is render the images, but first the section. So we're going to say section is going to be class name, and this class name is going to be um, class name is going to be flex flex row gap 6p6, right? And then what I want to do here is render the images. So I'm just gonna say Havanese dog.jpg. Okay, and this also gonna have. Oh, let me do the class names a little bit later. Okay, so instead of hasing home is how it's called? Wolf on beach. Wolf on beach. Okay, let's put a class name here. Class name is going to be width is going to be 150 pixels. Object cover and aspect square. Okay, and these ones obviously need a tag, and the tag is going to be block Havanese dog. Okay. I'm not sure if it's gonna work. Well, we'll see. We'll find out now. So let's do the first one first. Okay, that works. So let's do the second one. Okay, and this is going to be blog wolf on beach.jpg. Okay. Post not found because I'm using on JPEG. Okay, and these ones still work. Okay, okay, not bad. Happy with the result. Okay, looks good. Yeah. Let's check. Let's inspect the blog page for a second. The log page, and let's see how we did it again. So we say slug, and we want to say find the item that's equal to slug, and if the blog post is not found. But we want to say if we have related items, we want to filter that the items slug cannot be the same. So it's um, item slug comes from static block. So it's like find and then immediately becomes filter after it. But it's yeah, and then we are mapping. So first we are filtering, then we are mapping. This is the order, by the way, else you have like a big data order. Okay, great. Um, so we have a map. This is a very bad naming. Here we could have set data here. And yeah, the href is then block and item slug. That makes sense. Okay, I'm ready to make this page tomorrow. Okay, works well. Okay, very happy with the result. Looks good. Yeah, this is how you practice it. You actually have to get your hands dirty. This is how it is. There's no way around it. When it comes to this, like you can like make certain like shortcuts, but it's just best to practice this. And after a couple of times, you'll be like, oh yeah, this is how it works. But this way, how I'm doing it is a more static way. There are like dynamic ways with React router and whatever. I don't know them personally right now, and it's not important right now. But yeah, looks good, and it's time for me to go. So thank you so much for watching, and tomorrow we're gonna work on the testimonials and the blog again. Why? Because I want to make sure that I know the blog so I can wipe it off my schedule, and then we can continue with the testimonials, and after that we're gonna continue with the navigation. So navigation. All right. See you guys later. Thank you so much for coming here, Lisa. I will see you tomorrow. Yes, I'm still practicing Korean. Yeah, just not on stream. See you later.